If you're setting tile the wrong way, it's time to take a break. Tile and stone are durable materials that can and should last a lifetime. When tiles break, more often than not, it's due to issues with the substrate or the way the tile was installed. How you trowel mortar for setting tile makes a big difference in the durability of the tile over time. Let's look at the best way to trowel and the errors to avoid. Porcelain tiles, in particular, can withstand extra heavy service conditions. It takes a lot of impact or point load to cause bond loss when porcelain tile is installed correctly over a sound substrate. The mortar under this tile was installed using the correct trowel technique. No error here. On the other hand, since tile has a hard and brittle finish or a veneer, unsupported space under the tiles actually creates weak spots. That same porcelain tile may be easily damaged by the same impact, heavy loads, and other causes. Notice the difference in the troweling methods. Multi-directional troweling doesn't work any better. Even when using a deeper trowel, ridges don't collapse very well. Spot bonding with mortar is not recommended to set tile. It may be easier to set tiles flat to each other during the installation, but it's only a matter of time before just the slightest force causes a failure. Look at how little mortar actually comes in contact with the tile. It was easy to spot the tile that was installed correctly. The first tile was installed using the NTCA recommended ANSI standard. The others were not. Unfortunately, today, tile is often installed incorrectly, especially very large tiles, and this can cause costly failures. So why does this happen? It's because most flooring adhesives were applied in this manner, and the swirling motion was passed on. This is a more natural movement. It's faster to comb half moons or swirls, just a simple bend of the elbow. It also didn't make much difference for flooring or small tiles. The results of troweling this way are misleading. You can get the job done more quickly, but you can't get proper mortar coverage. Air is trapped with nowhere to go, leaving the tile unsupported. Swirling the mortar causes voids where the tile is not bonded to the substrate. These voids can result in cracked tile and bond failure under normal use, but especially under point load or impact. In addition to impact and heavy loading, tiles set without proper mortar coverage are more likely to fail under many conditions. To name a few: substrate deflection, substrate shrinkage or curling, creep, thermal expansion, freeze-thaw cycling. A lack of perimeter and other movement joints affects well-bonded tile. So imagine when half or even less of a tile is adhered. According to the American National Standards Institute, tile requires a minimum of 80% mortar coverage in interior applications and 95% for exteriors and wet environments, and all edges need to be supported. Natural stone requires 95% coverage in all areas. Notice what happens when clear glass is installed over swirled ridges. See how hard it is to achieve the coverage required? And it's impossible when you spot bond. Even beating it with a mallet won't help. With today's installations of larger and larger tile, there are other factors to consider. During the manufacturing process of most large tiles, the center tends to dome or warp upward. This warpage requires more mortar to be used, and air is even less likely to be removed when the mortar is swirled. Additional mortar applied correctly has to make up the difference. Flatter substrates are also required to successfully set large format tiles, as they cover a much larger area. According to TCNA and ANSI guidelines, variations in floor flatness should not exceed 1/4 of an inch in 10 feet. When installing tiles with any side 15 inches or longer, there is even less tolerance. Variation is limited to 1/8 of an inch in 10 feet and no more than 1/16 of an inch in 2 feet. Surface inspection and preparation are required for correct mortar coverage. The key to successful coverage is playing it straight, combing the mortar in straight lines. This method is proven to be effective even with large tiles. Why? Trowel ridges running in straight lines are much easier to collapse. They assist with air removal to maximize mortar coverage and ensure a strong bond to the tile and substrate. There are other steps to achieving strong mortar coverage. The first is to key in a coat of mortar into the substrate with the flat side of the trowel. Then, add more mortar to the substrate and comb the mortar in straight lines, all in the same direction. Combing the trowel ridges in straight lines provides even distribution of the mortar. To assist with collapsing ridges and removing air, comb the notches perpendicular to the long edges of the rectangular tiles. This allows better air release. Be careful not to leave any voids along chalk lines or between tiles. Trowel size matters. One size doesn't fit all. Use a trowel that will help you achieve a continuous minimum 3/32 of an inch mortar thickness. Larger tiles most often require deeper trowels. But not all deeper trowels guarantee better coverage. In fact, the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square notch trowel makes it more difficult to achieve proper coverage due to its wide spacing and is no longer recommended. Instead, use a specialized trowel that collapses ridges easier. For large format tile, glass tile, natural stone, or any tile set on exterior surfaces, flat back or notchback troweling the tile is recommended. Use the flat side of the trowel to get an even coat of mortar and fill all the spaces in the surface. To finish, set the tile firmly, moving it backward and forward across the trowel ridges, about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, without moving the tile side to side or twisting it. When you first start setting, and then periodically through the installation, remove a tile and check for coverage. Ridges should be collapsed, and you don't want the tile or the substrate to be missing mortar. As we've seen in these examples, it's clear that there's a right way and a wrong way to trowel mortar. Don't be a victim of trowel and error. Play it straight, and always use the NTCA recommended tile setting method.